Mhm. All right. Yes, Dave.
We do something called VIP cards. Like we got
Okay.
coupons on these like different, different types of like percentages off and stuff that we give customers that want to hand them out to their friends.
Okay, great, great. And I'll share with you guys another one of my clients around the holiday time. If I have it here, I will share it. Sends out these, and I got one as a sample. This is a Christmas card he sent me. But really, he's just showing me the sample because he sends this out to all of his top customers. And so he can actually filter through
Sales.
Yeah, he can filter through his sales and so forth to figure out which are some of his top spenders, and so he would select by a cutoff point, any customers that spend over $500 or whatever, and then he'd mail them this real nice card with the picture in the center and some signatures and so forth on there. But inside is a gift for you, and it says right on here. And I'll read this to you guys because I know it's probably teeny tiny on your screen. And Devin, I got your message. And you, let me see. Do you have video?
No, sir.
Okay, but you could hear, and we can hear you good, so that's good. All right. This says on here, enclosed are 3 gift cards for people you care about. Great stocking stuffers. And then, of course, there's these 3 gift cards. These are for 20. And then the actual person that's mailed to, and I don't have that card, but got a separate gift card for a higher dollar amount for them that they could use for themselves. And so again, it goes right back to the referral. And as far as like programs, I always advocate for some type of an internal program. I wouldn't go out and spend a whole bunch of money on a company to build and drive referrals. It just hasn't, from my experience and talking to a lot of shop owners, there hasn't been a big return on investment on those. The best is the grassroots type of referrals, like the Christmas gift cards or the stuff you guys are doing, Dave and Haley, at your shops. And nothing feels better than you just got one without even just because you're doing a great job servicing customers, and here they come, right? So excellent customer referrals. And so Haley, what's another way that we can build up our car count?
Well, I was going to say reputation, but that kind of goes with referrals and things. So let's go with speed of service.
Yeah, speed of service. Absolutely. Time's important to all of our customers. And so certainly that can build into your reputation, but also the speed of being able to, the time that you can free up a stall, the time you can free up a bay by not basically lollygagging, by just kind of being focused and things moving swiftly through the shop. Don't mistake it with, we don't want to have any rechecks or any mistakes like that. But we do want to have good methods in place and that speed of service and good systems in place that helps us from that A to Z visit with the customer, doing things in a timely manner. And then, of course, the sooner we can do it, the better off we can open up the opportunity for the next customer. And I always used to talk to my team when I was running shops. I would say, hey, you know what, if we could do twice as many cars in a day, let's say maybe we're averaging 15 or 20. If we could do 30 or 40, then wouldn't it make sense that our sales would actually double? Yeah, if I can maintain the same ticket average, the same ARO that I have been, but increase my car count, then that's going to be a huge win. And if I could become more efficient, and execute on speed of service, then I'm freeing myself up, create more opportunity for more car count. Excellent one. All right. And so, Brandon, what's another way we can grow our car count?
I'm going to go with knowledge.
Okay.
Just knowing about all the vehicles and stuff, so we're not painting ourselves in a box where you can't do specific brands, things of that sort. So you're opening up your clientele a lot more.
Okay. So I think what I hear you saying is just fishing in a bigger pond, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. To where, you know, it used to be a time in a day, and Aaron can probably tell you there used to be a time in a day when a lot of shops were specialty shops. There was a muffler shop, you know, then there's a shop that all they do is transmissions. Nowadays, that's very tough to survive by just kind of honing in on one thing you do. And so being able to kind of broaden it out and say, if you were a shop, say 20 years ago, that you worked on, you know, just nothing but, you know, Hondas and Acuras, well, today it'd be very tough to survive. And so by opening up the door to, you know what, let's add Toyotas and Nissans, and you know what, why not? Let's add the American cars too. And so by not limiting yourself to just one category of repair type work, you fish in a bigger pond, and most certainly, as Brandon said, you can build up your car count that way as well. Excellent. And thanks for being here, by the way, and I appreciate you sharing with us. Now we're going back to page 9. And what we're talking about here, Devin, is there's only 2 ways to increase sales in our business. And over here on the left side, it was already discussed, which this is more car count. And then over here on the right is making the car count more, or ARO, ticket average. And so we've been listing out the things on the left side that helps us build our car count. And so far we've got advertising, but specific to that, social media, because there's others. We talked about the value of our phone skills and how we can capture cars if we're doing a great job answering the phone. We talked about customer referrals from each other. We also talked about having a good reputation in the industry. Then it was just mentioned about having speed of service, which basically means, you know, executing at a high level to where we can open up the opportunity to take in the next car by moving methodically and having good systems and processes in place to do so. And then the last one that got mentioned right when you jumped on was about having a wide, basically kind of a bigger pond to fish in by doing different types of offers to our customers, rather than just being exclusively, say, a muffler shop, for example, and that's all you do. By just broadening out your horizons, and hey, no puns intended, because that is the name of your shop. So do you have one in mind right now that is another item that would help?
I've heard, I was in here and I've heard all their comments, and they're all great ones. I personally believe that I would probably add curb appeal, because I mean, a lot of wives and daughters, people in general, when they drive by somewhere, they normally they'll pull in if they have a nice feeling about the shop. So a clean front curb appeal would probably be something I would say.
Absolutely, and I totally agree 100%. So curb appeal, and that's a good one. And what I like about it is that that's going to be, people really start to make up their mind sometimes before they even come into your building, if they're going to want to do business with you. And so let's talk about that a little bit. Let's dive into curb appeal a little bit more, because I think that's a great one. What are some of the things that we can do, Dave, to enhance curb appeal?
Like just like have a better looking shop, like paint, flooring, you know, have a great waiting area, you know, sodas, water, you know, I know that's not outside, it's inside, but it's definitely part of the curb appeal. You know, and just, you know, keep it well manicured.
Okay, good. All good things you named off. What's something else, Brandon, that might could help with curb appeal?
Just making sure your parking lot's clean. You don't have trash out there, engines sitting around, disabled cars sitting up front, things of that sort. Um, really, that's a lot. I mean, just making sure your grass is cut.
Big deal. Big
Yeah.
deal. Yeah. Like your landscaping,
Yep.
no trash. So what would a customer think, Haley, if you pull into a shop or you're driving by one and the grass isn't manicured, there's garbage in the parking lot, the lines in between where you park are all faded, they haven't been painted in ages. What what do you think as a consumer when you pull into there?
Well, since I live in the middle of nowhere, all parking lots are kind of bad anyway. But I usually don't base on a parking lot because right now we have like a huge hole in ours, and it's just potholes because of winter.
Yeah.
It doesn't help when it's not very nice. Like if there's trash outside, and like it's right in the door or something. Like like we share our parking lot with a few other companies, so it's like they can't be bothered to clean the parking lot or cut the grass. Like, are they going to be bothered to take care of me properly? Like, where's the habit of my vehicle?
That's right. We start to draw other conclusions. We go, well, if they're, or you go in the bathroom and it's a complete mess and no one's cleaned the toilet in who knows how long, that's going to set you an instant impression. You're going to go, if this is how they take care of this, how are they going to take care of my vehicle? Right. Even though maybe they do a fantastic job on vehicles, just in a horrible job of cleaning the bathroom, the perception then becomes the reality. And so good. When I really like curb appeal, I personally believe now, if you're in Canada and you have that type of parking lot, I've seen them right after winter day. That's a little bit different. But if your lawn's not manicured, and you've got just garbage and dead cars in the parking lot, then that's going to send a message to somebody, and they very well may not even pull into your, they might just keep driving. And that's how powerful, you only really have one chance, to make a first impression. And that's how powerful your curb appeal can be. And so I really love that one. Nick, do you have another one you could share that's a way to build car count?
If you have loaners or shuttles.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Loaner vehicles or shuttles.
Oh yeah, loaner vehicles and shuttles. That's huge. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory, right? Because we already know, if we get objections from customers, there's only going to be a handful. And I always like to think about ahead of time customer objections, because we've heard all of them. So we have what I like to call home field advantage when it comes to an objection. One of those objections that we get is, well, I need my car. I need transportation. And if you have loaner cars and you offer shuttle service, then that's going to go a long, long way. And over time, you're going to grow your car count because people realize that you offer that as a benefit to them as a consumer, and may choose you over a shop that doesn't offer that, because it's just, and I can even speak from some personal experience right now. I got a pickup truck and my transmission went out, and it's at the transmission shop. It's been there for longer than, it's been over a week. And boy, it sure would have been convenient if they had given me a loaner car. Just taking my son to school, picking him up, and it just creates an extra workload and an extra struggle that's not as convenient as it would be if they say, hey, just drive this until your car's ready. And it even impacts my ability to pick up my car. When it's done and they call me and say, hey, your truck's ready, now I've got to get a whole nother person to either take me up there. So because I can only drive one car at a time, somebody else has to be somewhat inconvenienced in order for me to be able to go pick up my car. I got to take up some of their time as well. And so the more convenient it is, the better. Absolutely a great, having that benefit is a great way to increase your car count and your ticket average as well. One of the things you guys will start to see is that some of these things belongs on both sides of the list, right? And so when we see one of those, I would say let's go ahead and jot that down on both sides. And so far with what we've covered, phone skills certainly is something that can be both, right? It can improve your ticket average as well. So I'm going to add that to that side. Referrals. I mean, if you have a referral, there's already some trust that's built in there. And so you're probably going to have a bigger ticket than you would if it's just a first time customer and they weren't referred to you from somebody else. Your reputation goes hand in hand. That having a good reputation is also going to help promote trust. You know, a lot of the reasons why we don't do as much business as we'd like to maybe do is sometimes customers don't trust us and we have to earn their trust. And that takes sometimes over time, or they don't know and we have to educate them. But your reputation can go a long, long way in car count and average repair order. Speed of service belongs on both sides too. And I look at when we think about speed of service, of course, for me, I look at it in terms of processes and systems that are being executed well. And it's not like how fast can we do it. It's how well oiled can this machine be. And then of course we already mentioned shuttles can go a long way. Curb appeal, maybe not so much, just because once they're there, they're there. But if you have a nice clean shop, we already talked about how that perception becomes reality. Excellent. Okay, so last one listed was loaner vehicles. I love that one. And so Haley, what's another one that we can help build our car count with?
Your hours of operation.
Absolutely. Hours of operation. That just only makes sense. If you're going to see X number, you're open X number of hours, you can see X number of cars. If you were to open earlier or stay open longer, that opens up that time window to receive more cars. If you're a Monday through Friday and you decide to open on Saturdays, that extra day can also, of course, increase your car count, hands down. And it becomes an actual benefit to a customer. And by having the extra hours, it's also going to improve your speed of service because you have more time essentially to complete repair work in terms of days, right? So the transmission shop where my pickup truck is right now, they're closed on Saturdays. Mine broke down a couple Fridays back. This Friday would actually be 2 weeks. Broke down on a Thursday night. Friday morning, I had it towed in. Monday, I called them to get it kind of just a status update. I'm not going to bug a shop a bunch, but I just want to see where they were with it, and they haven't even checked it yet. Had they been open on Saturday, maybe I'd be, of course, further along on the process. I love that, hours of operations. And what's another way, Brandon?
One thing that I was always brought up with was just being involved in the community to build that trust. Food drives and things of that sort. Just being, like I said, just making sure you're a part of it because just knowing that you'll be missed if you were gone, meaning you're part of that infrastructure.
This is such a great topic that we're all going to do some sharing on what we might have done in the past to be part of a community, to help expand that community outreach. And so I'll share with you guys, this is just a certificate for about 7.5 years. I owned 2 auto repair shops in Georgia, one in Marietta and one in Ackworth. I had a business partner, but one of the things that I got involved with is Partners in Education. And this is one of these, something you do with the local school. And so we donated our time. We donated fund items to be auctioned off at fundraisers. 5 packs are one of those items that we donated. And so not only is that going to build you more car count and help you make more customers, but it's rewarding on the inside to help do those kind of thing, do those type of things. So let me ask, if by just by a show of hands, or Devin, if you want to speak out, I'll actually ask you first. What type of things have you done to build the community involvement?
Ours would be, we've actually been involved in Chamber of Commerce. Um, Social media is always good. Facebook, I got a lot of friends, followers. Um, just sharing what we're doing at the shop, sharing projects, just staying involved, and also with the churches. We help a lot of times. We have people fall on bad times or something, and kind of either take a community kind of collection to help them out with the oil change, whatever, blessing people. Pretty much what we call is blessing people that we know that are less fortunate or struggling. And I mean, we don't expect anything out of it, but it does spread. I mean, it spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
We had a customer come in, and she just moved to the area, and she lost her job, and we blessed her. I think her bill was like $300-400. Just told her that someone took care of it, and she wanted a name and everything. Like they told us not to share that with you, and she just went on Facebook, and she just pretty much blasted on Facebook like, "Hey, I'm amazed." And everybody went back, and there's comments from our customers saying, "Oh, well, that's Horizon's way, this and that," because other people know us for that. So I think it works for us.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, man, I love that, the blessing people. I think that's so cool that you guys do that. You can't, there's no, you couldn't have never spent $400 or even $4,000 and gotten that kind of a true, response and reply from your community. I think that's outstanding. And I also, okay, Dave, also, Devin, if you would share, I mean, you guys are probably one of the top shops in the entire country. Could you just share with the rest of us what kind of sales you guys did, say, last month?
Last month, March was a record March. I think we did right under 380,000 for the month.
Huge. So very impressive. And how many bays?
Total bays, lube and alignment bay included, I think there's 8
bays. Tremendous numbers. Of course, they're in a fabulous location as well. But, I can see when you guys are doing that, the blessing people, that's huge. And I could certainly see how that can impact things out in your community. So bravo to you and you guys and what you're doing. Excellent, excellent. We lost somebody. All right. So what's another way that we can join and be part of our community? Brandon, what kind of things have you potentially done in the past?
Like I said, I've only been here a few weeks, but in the past with Caliber, we did recycle rides. We teamed up with USAA, and we a disabled veteran or something, a lot of our techs would donate their time to fixing cars up and things of that sort, and then we would donate it to a veteran, disabled, and things of that sort. So that was very powerful. Like I said, we also had the meal or the food drives for kids over the summer and everything, because a lot of kids don't have that opportunity once they're out of school to have a nice food source and everything. So we always did that right before the summers to make sure that kids out of school and everything had food. The other thing was we did the changing lane program, which was also military personnel getting out, and we actually would train them in the industry to help them cope back to getting back to coming back from actually serving our country and everything.
That's huge. Man, what a great bunch of ways to get that community involvement. Man, does that just go so far?
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. How about you, Haley? Anything I know there's been some really good ones mentioned. Anything else you might have done over at your shop or be familiar with as a good way to get involved with the community?
Um, we do like auction stuff for schools when they're doing like their band trip fundraisers. Um, let's see. Dad recently went to, well, his old high school, my old high school, and everything, and did a talk with the like grade 9 to 12s about like life in a shop, kind of what he has to do day to day, the whole thing. Not a fun talk. 'Cause I've done
Yeah,
it. It's not greatest, but they seem to enjoy it.
it's great.
And I guess when COVID started, he did he sponsored like people to get like mental health
Oh
stuff
wow.
sorted. That's kind of recent. There's probably more. I just don't
Man,
know.
those are some great ones. Man, just so many good ideas. Hope y'all are jotting some of these down because later on you could utilize some of these as well at your shops. These are great. I love this. That community involvement that becomes. We've already mentioned like reputation. We talked about referrals. I'll tell you what. Well, these community things you guys have been doing or done in the past are tremendously huge and make a big impact on your reputation out there in your communities. I'll share a couple more. We used to do the Toys for Tots every year for Christmas, and I see some heads moving around. That's another great one. It's of course, it's Christmas time. We're collecting toys and stuff for unfortunate kids. And it's also helping out the Marine Corps because the Marines are the ones who actually put this together. And I mean, I've done it from where we've had boxes in our stores, and they give you a nice decals, window clings and buttons and stuff that you can promote the event. But we would take it a step further, and we'd also volunteer our customer shuttles to help pick up boxes from other businesses and take them all to the main warehouse and actually help out at the warehouse with. You'd be amazed how many toys get collected, but they all have to be then distributed, right? And in timely manner to get to the kids in time. And then we also done stuff at wintertime, coat collections, and that's a program that was done at some of the stores here in Texas. Believe it or not, even though it hardly ever gets cold, when it does, there's a huge need for that. A lot of people just don't own jackets that are a little bit less fortunate. Aaron, how about you? What kind of things I might have? Is there anything else you can think of that you could add to community outreaches?
Absolutely. So I owned my own shop for approximately like 11 years, and I was really active in. We were a small community, volunteer fireman. I'm a state certified, firefighter. We get involved with picnics. You get shoved into all kinds of things you never thought you would. And it really, when they see you in that community environment, and you got your gear on, they want, that's like, I could trust you. I'm going to trust you to try to help me. And that was one of them. I also was very involved with town and town board, town government.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in front of that environment and that group of your peers in your community, not only is it a great place to kind of promote yourself or promote your business, it gives them a level of, I think, like a trust.
Yeah.
And I think those sorts of things, obviously career day at the school, coaching basketball, all those things that, I bought some uniforms for my girls because I used to coach ball.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of those things that you can do, and all those things just add up, and they really pay dividends. And but I definitely say if you're in a smaller community like we are, if you get a chance to be on a fire department, and then obviously your fire department buddies, guess what? They're all driving vehicles. So it just kind of goes hand in hand in that trust.
Yeah.
So if you could trust the guy next to you going into a burning building, you can fix your car generally. So.
Huge. Man, really good stuff. So, I mean, I think there's a huge emphasis if you're not already doing it. I think everybody kind of is the community involvement. Wow. How powerful is that? And to me, take away the exposure that it gets for the business. I mean, it just feels good. It feels good to be out in the community, knowing you're helping other people that are less fortunate. I mean, I love the program, Brandon. You guys said you did a Caliber where you actually were rehabbing and refurbing cars and getting somebody an actual vehicle.
Mhm.
And that just goes so far. So good stuff. Is there anything that anybody would like to add to that hadn't been discussed yet? Yes, Dave.
Yeah, I got my computer died. Sorry, guys. So I don't know if anybody mentioned it while it was off or not, but you did the Toys for Tots things, and we did like Christmas and Thanksgiving food drives.
Oh yeah.
Filled up big, huge boxes and donated to different churches and stuff. So.
Food drives are good. Also did something with the Boy Scouts, believe it or not, back a couple of years back, and they actually make you go through a training, so you get like somehow you're Boy Scout certified. That was pretty good. And then we would do stuff with the kids, to help them as well. So good shares, everybody. Those are great. And boy, just in that community outreach stuff, we had a lot of good sharing, and it's much appreciated. But there's more things that we can talk about that helps build car count. So I'm just going to go in the new order now. So Aaron, what else can we do to build our car count up?
Well, one thing I think is if your shop can have quality equipment and tools to move these vehicles in and out in an efficient manner, I guess. If I look at it as if we have the correct tools and we have the correct techs, deals could get done promptly. I know that kind of goes with timeliness, and speed of service. But if you don't have the tools and equipment to supply speed of service, it kind of sets you back. That's just one of my thoughts.
No, and I agree. And sometimes I work with some shop owners, and maybe they don't have an alignment machine, for example. And so what that eats up a tremendous amount of their time, because they're having to they might do a set of struts. Now they got to drive it to another competitor, really have the alignment done, then bring it back. And so that eats up quite a bit of time, and that's that same valuable time that could be building up your car count. So I could totally see where having the right kind of equipment to be more efficient and get more things done is huge.
I also think too, like quality of equipment, because good stuff makes time. So
Yes.
sometimes if you get a used piece, sometimes it's not where we need to be. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, probably for you and I, Aaron, going way back, when we started in this business, think about nowadays, you can do an alignment like 15 minutes, but they used to take a good hour easily. Remember the pop the chalk line, string,
toe sticks and a caster camber gauge. Yeah.
Yep. So that's funny. All right, excellent. And Haley, what's another way we can go about boosting our car count?
Callbacks, like all the phone call things, pre-booking, all that jazz.
All right, these are two good ones. Those are two good ones you said. And I do want to spend some time talking about those. Callbacks is a huge way to build your car count. And there's several different strategies and techniques and ways you can do callbacks. One of the things that's an advantage for one of the beautiful things about our industry and what we do is that when we take in customers, we collect a lot of information. Their name and first and last name, their phone number, their physical address, and hopefully everybody's getting email addresses. But if I go to see a movie, or if I go to eat dinner at a local restaurant, unless I join some rewards program, they don't know who I am. They may have my credit card, but they don't know my phone number and my physical address. We have such a huge advantage that we can actually reach out to and contact our customers. If I go to the movie theater, as much as they might want to reach out to me and thank me for coming there and invite me to come back, unless I'm joined the rewards program, which is something they came up just for that, because they don't have that advantage that we do, they can't get a hold of me. But so we have those tools, and we have for decades, to where we can always do what's called a callback. Now, one is just like I mentioned, which is just thank you for your business is a type of a callback. The shop where Nick's at, they were doing a changing over on one of their systems, and they lost some data on some of their customers. And I just thought, what a fabulous callback. But it was just calling them back that they were updating their records. And what was identified is a lot of customers who we didn't have their email addresses for. And so during those callbacks, then you have the opportunity to actually collect that information, get that email address, which is probably the least expensive way to market to your customers, your internal customers, is through email blasts. And so I thought it was just an excellent callback. And so, of course, when I hear great ideas, I like to collect those and then share them with everybody. Another really good callback is warranty reminder callbacks, right? For years, the warranty that we had, the shops that I was over, was a 3-year, 36,000 mile nationwide warranty, but it was prorated. It was 100% coverage for the first 12 and prorated thereafter. And so right at the 11th month, we always called back every customer that we did a repair on to let them know that, hey, while you're still inside the 12 months, we'd like to have you come back in so that we could reinspect the repair work we performed on your Volkswagen Jetta and just retake a look at that water pump and make sure everything's in great shape. Now, this is a numbers game when we start talking about callbacks. But what would often happen is, hey, Brian, thanks for reaching out. Man, my car's running great. I haven't had any issues with that water pump or anything. So I don't really need to do anything there. But my other car, I just started hearing my brakes are squeaking. Can you schedule me in for that? And so it's just an opportunity to reach out to your customer base, and you get to talk about your business. There's several, even if you're only, I've heard the argument, well, nobody answers the phone. Well, that may be true. Maybe you don't get a lot of people answering the phones, but part of the callback process is being prepared to actually leave the customer message. And when you do that, it's advertising. Hey, this is Brian from UNet Results. I just wanted to reach out, and whatever your message may be at that time. What's another type of callback that somebody else has used outside of the ones that I just mentioned? Who can think of another type?
I can see where we've done some in the past. We've done some really big work, big new motor job. Obviously we got to get them back in, check things over, but just to call a couple days later and say, hey, how's it going? And it just, I think it's that reassurance that we care. And for me, I've always did that when I did a big job, just to make sure, hey, am I hitting the marks? Did it go well for you? That's one that I can think of.
Good. Anybody else? That's a great one, by the way. Yes, Dave?
Miss Sales Files?
Miss Sales File, absolutely. And that's a Miss Sales Callbacks is exactly that. The way that kind of works on a Miss Sell is that you whenever we're checking out the customer, we make an extra copy of the ticket. And let's say that this customer, maybe they were in there for an oil service, and while they were there, we identified that the brakes only have about 10% of the pad remaining on the rear brakes. And so we let the customer know, and what she tells us is, well, you know what? My husband's out of town on business. He usually makes these type of decisions, so I'm going to wait till he gets back, and then we'll talk about it. And he comes back, and he'll be back in 5 days, right? So then we would then take that extra copy and put it in one of those brown accordion style folders that's numbered. And so today would be the 14th. So I'd put that in there on the 19th, right? Number of the 19th. And then on the morning of the 19th, maybe by then I got 3 or 4, maybe 5 customers I want to reach out to and call and offer them to come back and have that brake work done. And that's a Miss Sales Callback. And so if you stay organized with such a system like that in that process, then almost every day there's going to be some in there that you can reach out and call. And as you go through it, you just leave notes right on that invoice copy. Like maybe you only could leave a message. So, 12:19, 10 a.m., left a message. And then maybe you take it and slide it back to the 21st to remind yourself on the 21st to maybe reach out and call them again if they haven't showed up already or booked an appointment with you. So yeah, missed sales is another great callback. Is there any others that have been used out there? Okay, I'll share another one with you. And this is only going to apply to places that have annual either smog emissions or safety inspections. Texas is one of those. Georgia is also where they have smog. And there may be others. But it's in Georgia, they do them on your birthday. It's like happy birthday, go get your car inspected, right? And so it's kind of it's an opportunity to give a double message. If you call them the month it's due, you're too late, right? You want to call them the month before their state inspections are due. And just as hey, this is Brian, I'm calling from Unit Results. Last year, we performed your annual smog test on your Honda Accord. I just wanted to reach out to you and give you a courtesy reminder that you're coming due for that once again. Would you like to reserve a time to bring in your vehicle? And so maybe they do, maybe they don't, but either way, they get to hear your company name. They get to know you're looking out for them. You're giving them a courtesy call. And it's just, again, you're getting your name out there and you're driving car count, right? You're driving car count. So those are some really good callbacks. And so that's a good discussion. And also another good one that Haley mentioned was pre-booking. Who knows what pre-booking is and what that means besides Haley? Yeah, Dave.
It means kind of book like if they're there for an oil change and say we found they needed a tune-up, pre-booking that, in the future, next week or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, really, when you stop and think about it, when's the best time to have that conversation with the customer is when they're picking up their car. It only makes fantastic sense because then we don't have to worry about chasing them down with a phone call or a text message. They're right there in front of you. And maybe it could be an oil service that we're talking about. Maybe it's a timing belt that's coming due or slightly past due. But we want to schedule them for a future visit. Now, I'll tell you the technique that worked well for me. And it's really basic, and that's what makes it effective. And it's a finger count method. Is that what you guys do, Haley? The finger count deal? All right. So here's what we know. Our customers are pretty doggone busy, right? They all have busy schedules and it's hard. If you came to me and said, boy, Brian, let's see, it's the 14th of April, May, June, July, and you're asking me to come back for my next oil service in 3 months from now, I cannot commit to any time on, May, June, July the 14th. I have no idea exactly what's going to be going on in my life on that particular day. But what I can commit to is beginning, middle, and end, right? Think about that, beginning, middle, and end of a month. And so if one of you guys says to me, hey, Brian, we'd like to see you come back. Let's see, this is the middle of April. So May, June, July. Are you okay if we reach back out to you and get you scheduled back in for sometime in the middle of July? Right. And now I'm going to say, well, yeah, that'd be great. And so I'm not really like boxing myself into a small corner where I have to commit to a time in a day, but just the middle of the month. And then what you guys would do once the customer says, yeah, that'd be great. Then we take that customer and we put them in our scheduler for Sunday, but the Sunday that would be the next Sunday before you get to the middle of July. Right. And so on Monday morning, when you come into work, everybody that's on the scheduler for Sunday, because we're all closed on Sunday. I think everybody on here is closed on Sundays. Those are the customers that we want to reach out to that tentatively accepted a reminder for either beginning, middle of, or end of said month. And now we're actually nailing it down, because sometime around, I don't even know what the first Sunday is going to be in July. But let's just say it's the 10th, right? Now I'm getting a call on the 11th, to commit to some time, and it's closer, so I can commit to an actual day and an actual time and be there. So really all we're asking, if it's the beginning of the month, and let's say it's a timing belt and they need to really get it done, they're already past due, but maybe they're waiting on a refund, their tax refund, and they're going to get that refund in a month. Well, how about, is it all right if we call you and get you scheduled in at the middle of next month? Right. So again, put it in your Sunday schedule, call this customer back to schedule them in to an actual day and time, the middle of May. Okay. And so that's how that tool works. I think it's just a great idea. And there have been studies done. So it's like just under 60% of your customers. This is a study that was done. They polled 25,000 people, and who would be receptive to being basically pre-booked, kind of like they do at the dentist, right? They're already making your next appointment. And like 59 point some percentage of automotive repair shop customers are open for that and would commit to that. And so again, like everything, a lot of the stuff we do, it's a numbers game. And so if you want to have that 10 out of 6, you got to ask all 10, right? You got to get those 6 people to commit to just the beginning, middle, of end of said month. And then what you're going to see is your car count climb, right? Excellent. Pre-booking. These are some good ones. All right. Who's got another one? Building car count. Yes, Dave. I can't hear you. There
Hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yes, sir.
All right. The best way out there to build your car count is to take on fleet accounts.
Fleet work. That's another one. Now, you guys doing that there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Share with us. How's your fleet program work?
We have about, I want to say 5 fleets right now. And the way they work is, so we kind of lower the hourly rate for the fleets and the percentage on parts a little bit. So they'll keep coming back, and we got all their vehicles. So with fleet, you're not really worried about too much of percentages or hourly. You're worried about how many cars you see. So, and we, like I said, we got a bunch of them, 10 trucks one place, 7 trucks one place. So
okay,
definitely build your car count.
Man, that's great. That is excellent. Yeah, fleet work's a big deal. I mean, that is a great way to boost your car count. So anybody else do anything fleet wise? No? Okay. Yeah, there's I've done stuff for landscaping companies, swimming pool companies, the pest control companies. Right, they all run around in these trucks all day long. And so one of the good part about having a fleet, there's everything. You got your pluses and minuses. It'll definitely boost your car count. They don't pay. Some of them don't pay right when the bills due. Like there might be a 30-day lag. I try to get credit cards for those customers so that they can immediately pay. But if you do a great job of servicing them, get them back on the road because that's their business, then you can earn a great. And I know some of you guys do fleet work, but some people really take it to the next level and do just a fantastic job of really driving quite a bit of business through fleets. So excellent. You take care of them, get them back on the road. The most recent fleet company I signed up is a company called Service Guard, and they've got like 100 trucks. They do security detail, and man, they just, I think when I negotiated that deal the previous year on them same 100 trucks, they'd spent like $200,000. part of their interest was a faster turnaround time. Of course, like every other business, they wanted to try to save some money. And so I earned that fleet account. It was a great account. And I told them the way we're going to save you money is we're actually going to stay focused on your maintenance so that, and you know, you have less breakdowns. And they put so many miles on these fleet cars so fast, a lot of them, that you see them so often, right? Because they're constantly on the road. All right, good. Who else has another one to share? We're driving car count.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, I'll let Aaron go first and then Dave.
I think if you can take the time and have the personnel to do a little outside sales.
Okay.
And promote yourself. I know here we were talking about going to some of these fleet places and promoting yourself. You know, just by stopping and saying hi, telling them what you can offer, give them a quality job, quality product.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing that small introduction. Sometimes that face-to-face works really good.
Yes.
Like an outside sales type thing, you know, not going crazy, but just stopping in, especially some fleet owners you might know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to call it beating the streets. It beat the streets. Now with COVID, you know, you got to be a little more careful these days, but we're just about out of the woods on this, guys. So yeah, you go in and you just, you know, you're shaking hands and kissing babies and you're handing out business cards and you're letting people know you're there. You know, how many of the neighboring businesses, of those neighboring businesses around you, how many of you know the names of the manager at, say, said business? Like those type of things are important. You should know them and they should know you. I always made it a point to the local businesses around me. I wanted to know who the who the owner was or who the manager was, so I could build a relationship with them. And in turn, they're going to now send me customers, right? And again, like Aaron said, it's, you know, do you have the time? All of the things, a lot of the things we're talking about takes up time. But I used to say, you know, hey, there's no such thing as a slow day. We can have a low car count day, but that doesn't mean we're slow. You know, now we have to come up with ways to make sure that the next day isn't going to be a low car count day. And that's when you might spend that time to go out and meet your neighbors and beat the streets. I've hung up stuff next to time clocks at big grocery stores. Publix is a big grocery store in Georgia. I used to do things with them, or their employees punch in and punch out. I could offer them stuff. You know, promote, if you do free pickup and delivery and you got a large company near you, you can promote your pickup and delivery. You can almost make it like it's special just for their company, but it's part of your regular service already. But yeah, just getting out there and shaking hands, handing out business cards is a great way to build up your business and grow your car count. Great, man. You guys are coming up with some excellent ones. Yes, Devin, you got one?
Yeah, a couple. We do ducking. It's called ducking with the Jeeps around town. There's a lot of Jeeps around Rockwall. That's where we actually take these little mini ducks we get off of Amazon. We send the girls in the back office. They drive around. They find Jeeps. They put the ducks, all different kinds of ducks, on the Jeeps with a business card, because we also do truck accessories and Jeep accessories.
Oh.
We also do auto vitals. So as far as like the customer's point of view from their visit, along with setting up the appointment on auto vitals, we're able to make the appointment before we even check them out and already plan to have that deferred work already taken care of at that finalization of the sale. And then we go ahead and follow up with auto vitals, which sends them a message right after they leave, asking them about their visit, if we can do anything else for them. How was your visit, this and that. We also do several things with other companies, marketing companies, as far as Mail Shark and flyers and everything. So there's a lot of money that we spend on advertising, and a lot of money we spend on the software we have to pretty much just gather as much as we can from the time we have with that customer when they walk in through the time they walk out.
Absolutely, man. I love that. So tell us more about what'd you say, ducking?
Yeah, ducking, D-U-C-K-I-N-G. Apparently it's a Jeep. In the Jeep world, people put these if you see another person with a duck, you're supposed to wave. I mean, with a Jeep, you're supposed to wave as you drive, but it's called ducking. If you see a Jeep and there's these ducks that you can buy online, and you just put a duck on their Jeep. It's called you ducked them or something. Anyways, we came into it because a couple customers started telling us about doing it to some of their buddies. So we're like, hey, this would be interesting. And it pretty much became a wildfire online on Facebook. And they're like, hey, I got a duck on my Jeep with Horizon's card. And then somebody else is like, hey, I got one too. And they're like, I don't know what they're doing. And then they just started chatting, and then it became pretty much like almost a blog on the internet.
Man, that's huge. I hope all the rest of you guys captured that. Anytime somebody that did $380,000 last month is talking, I'm listening, right? And that's just a great share. I'd never heard of that before. But now I know. I'm definitely something I'm going to look into and learn. I think that's fantastic. Your Auto Vitals is a great tool. Some of you guys use something similar, maybe if not Auto Vitals, there's RO Touch, there's Auto Serve One. Yeah, Dave. Oh, sorry. And yeah, so yeah, that's an excellent tool. And then, of course, Devin also mentioned direct mail. Mail Shark's one of those companies. There's Upswell, formerly of Mudlick Mail, and then there's Echo, several of them, but those direct mail postcards work. They're going to get people to, when they see your postcard, they might just look at it and throw it away. But it's that impression, right? It's like every time you see a Coca-Cola commercial, you don't hop in your car and run down to the store and buy a Coke. But maybe the next time you're having a family gathering or picnic, that's what's the impression that's in your mind. And so we constantly want to make those impressions on our potential customers. So huge thing.
I'm sorry.
No, go
we're
ahead.
personally trying to get away from the coupons just because, we don't want to be a coupon store. We like to be more of a personalized store. That's why we do whenever it comes to customers coming in and spending money with me and the other service advisors, we do actually a handwritten note, a card to them, pretty much thanking them for their visit, thanking for their business, because there's a lot of options out there. We have dealerships, we have other shops around us that they can gladly go to with no problem at all, but they choose to come back to us. So we make it a priority to send out a personalized note to them along with a gift card for their next visit, either being $10, $25 or something, because that customer that spent $4,000 with me this time, $25 off ain't going to be a lot to them, but the personalized note is what's going to make their day. They're going to be like, hey, I counted. Apparently, my visit to them meant something to him.
That's huge. And, I'll tell you today, you don't see a lot of personalized notes where somebody actually sat down and wrote a thank you card, and including, some type of a discount. We used to do something similar, and that would, nobody really liked doing it, to be honest, but we had to do it anyway because it worked. And somebody would sit down, we print up a list of it, and we would do it with every first time customer, every new customer. So your point of sale system can filter out who's a brand new customer that you checked out yesterday. And then we get the list, and every single one would get a handwritten thank you card. We already had the thank you cards printed up with the logo on there. We already had these little fellows here, things like this. It'd be a little $25 off or something similar to that, that we put in there with it. And our stamps. So we're already ready to go. So it's just a matter of whoever had the best handwriting got to be the one to get to write these out. Maybe it might take an hour or so to sit in the office and fill these out, and then we put them in the mailbox. And it's just great. So to get that and receive that is a big deal these days because you don't see it. People don't write letters anymore. It's mostly email. And when you're filtering through your mail, it's nice to actually have something handwritten. So makes a big, powerful impact today, more so than maybe say a decade or 2 decades ago.
Oh, I agree. You have to keep it interesting. We did the wooden nickels for instead of coupon cards. I mean, in the past we did the wooden nickel.
Mhm.
We actually had $5, $10 wooden nickels we used to give customers, and we would do all kind. I mean, we just mix it up. I mean, if something doesn't work, keep on going. I mean, just don't give up on it. We just try to keep it interesting and try to keep the people on their toes. I mean, if it's going to car shows, hosting car shows, doing a Christmas party where all the service advisors actually dress up as elves, the owner dresses up as Santa, and we go in this community behind us that's less fortunate, and we hand out gifts. Um, we just keep it interesting.
That's giant, man. And then somebody hopefully is making a little video of that too that you can
We are.
later post on social media. So I love what I really like about what you're sharing here is that you always keep it interesting and you always keep it fun. And I think that's important for everybody to grab, those gold nuggets that each other are dropping, and to think about how that might could impact your business if you were to do something similar. So excellent.
I think also a good point would be to make it personal. I mean, whenever I'm very good, I've been here been at this shop back here for over 6 years, and there's 80% of the customers I know by first and last name. I sometimes even know their kids' names and what's going on in their lives because I'm on Facebook. They tell me about it when they come in. So, hey, whenever Steve Wilkerson walks in my door, hey, Steve, what's going on, man? How's it going? How's your daughter? How's basketball working out for her? I mean, you have to keep your customers knowing that, hey, they're number one in your book.
That's
I mean,
it.
because they are our livelihood. Without them, there would be no shop.
Yeah, that's great. And building those connections, building those relationships, and and letting your personality be you. Let you be you, and don't get stuck behind the ink pen and the counter, right? Let your personality come out, feel comfortable in your skin, be that very personable person. And so for some of us, it takes more work than others. But let down your guard and open yourself up to building these relationships with your customers, because man, I tell you, same thing, you're walking through the grocery store and you're just waving at people, are waving at you. And that's all, to me, it's all interwoven with each other and being part of that community as well. Another thing that I would do sometimes when I'm maybe very first meeting a person, a first time customer, is, and a lot of you guys have this in your point of sale systems too, there's an area where you can put some notes in there. And it's okay to put some notes in there. Like Devin mentioned, the daughter played basketball. It might be hard and difficult to remember that all at the beginning, but you can leave yourself these little notes, like a little cheat sheet. But happens over time is, number one, when you leave the note, you're implanting it also in your brain. Is going to have a better chance of remembering it because you're typing it in and reading it. Then the next time that customer comes, maybe you have to look at that note, but over time you don't have to anymore, and it becomes way more genuine and real. But we might be their only service advisor, but we might have hundreds of customers, and that's how you can start to build those relationships. Excellent one, man. You guys are just coming up with some good ones. Wow. Any others? Yes, Dave.
I just wanted to kind of sort of put the cherry on what you just said, because doing this, as long as I've been doing it, I've kind of noticed something. And in all honesty, we don't really sell auto repair. What we sell is ourselves and our business.
Yeah.
Because I got customers that drive by 4 or 5 different shops to get to mine. And you got to sell yourself. If you can't sell yourself, you won't be able to sell anything else.
That's right. And I can't even agree with you more. And that is a good putting the cherry on top. It's our biggest tool on the front counter that we have. Our number one tool is our ability to communicate and our communication skills. A lot of what we're going to do is all about communicating, whether it's communicating with the customer, communicating with the technicians, communicating with our vendors. That's our number one tool. And so we all want to be great communicators.